Now we're live. Okay, so creating your own text. One of the most important things about your design is the message that it reads. Not just about the logo, the graphic, but it's about the message behind the graphic. Without a good, clear text, the logo gets lost. It becomes background if the message is not clear. It also has to be the most distinguishable object on your design. If you have a bunch of staggered stones that really don't shape a letter, you know, it kind of pales the rest of the graphic with it. Okay, so we're going to cover some basic techniques on how to create text. There's many different ways, what we can do with those texts, and how to actually do advanced text styles or techniques to actually arch text and still make it look nice. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to open up your question tab and just post a question. I'll be able to answer them. Okay, now the first thing I always do when rendering a graphic or deciding what type of text I'm going to use is based upon what the customer gives me. Okay, you'll find a lot of customers will give you different styles of fonts, like this one here, which we did a couple weeks ago. Let's just go ahead and go on the internet and pull something down and see what we can do. Let's go to what's coming up, football season, right? Mascots. Let's go to the mascots. Mascot seems to be very popular, and let's go to clipboard on that. Okay, the Bulls. Okay, the Bulldogs, the Cardinals. All these are very popular. Okay, and let's see. We're looking for like a font. Like the Wildcats here is a pretty good one here. I like this one here. Cougars. Everybody knows a Cougars team, but Wildcats happens to be one of the most popular ones. So we're going to work with this one here. And make sure if you are grabbing graphics off the internet, they are, and you intend to sell them, that they are royalty free. You can use them. If not, I would suggest going to eBay and just Google vector graphics or just clip art images, royalty free. And then all those things that'll be in there will be royalty free. Now, always find out what the size of the graphic should be that the customer wants. Okay, the customer wants this for teenagers, so it's for, let's go with high school, small, medium, and large. Okay, so the size of this graphic would probably be about 8.5 inches wide, if on a full chest or full back. So what I'll do is I'll set it to 8.5 inches. Okay. And you can see my graphics actually pretty low resolution. So let me just undo that first. And let's go ahead and increase them. Let me see if I can find a better graphic here. This one here is pretty dirty, and I'm not sure if I can actually clean this up enough. Let's see. Let's get this back down to 2 colors. Yeah. See, when you have a graphic right here with its own text, I rarely use this, only because when I clean up the graphic, it breaks it up and it really doesn't convert very well. Okay, so what I do is I use the JPEG image. I'll create everything that you see, like the claw and everything, but for the Wildcats, I'll actually create my own text from that. So let's go ahead and grab our stones. Let's go ahead and go to let's resize first. I want to go to we're gonna go to, yeah, we're already at 8.5 inches here. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Hotfix, and I'll add my stones I intend to use. It's basically going to be just I'll do a red outline, probably do a red SS10, and we'll do a white inside of here. So, by the way, we have Spangles. I don't know if anybody out there uses a Spangle machine. We actually have Spangles listed in here for the colors that Coleman & Company sells. You can see them right here. If you go to the Spangle folder and go to standard round, okay, the bottom one, the very bottom standard round, you see that you have a couple standard rounds in there. You got this one here, round. You have this, let's see, where's that standard? That standard round. It's not that one. It'll be the last one on the list. And then there's your 1.2 millimeters for your micro punches, your 2, 3, 4, 5s. We don't sell 6 millimeter punches, not yet anyway, but we don't have those. And then down here are your colors. Okay, that's coming to company. HS means holographic spangle. So if I was going to create this as spangle, I use these. So I'm going to use an SS10 silver, and then we'll use the red SS10. Okay, and we're going to need a 2 millimeter tube. We're actually going to use a 2 millimeter silver and a 2 millimeter red for the Wildcats as well. So I'll go ahead and go down. I'll choose that. Set it to the top. I always set my 2 millimeters up to the top list because they happen to be the first 2 press units on my Spangle machine, followed by the 3 millimeter and the 4. So I always lay this out based upon how my machine's set up. It's just a habit of mine. You don't have to, but it's just a way I like to do it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this graphic, okay? By the way, we've been getting a lot of calls from people that think they have to convert all their graphics to vectors, and you don't. If there's no change that has to happen on the graphic, okay, like this is what the customer wants, there's no reason to actually convert it to a vector. You can actually create them, you can actually go ahead and create it right from the JPEG as long as you reduce colors. First question we get is from Debbie. Debbie asks, is it the same for rhinestones? Yes. On the rhinestones, yeah, my left hopper usually has my SS6 plate, my right hopper has my SS10, so I always set the SS6 in the first position because it's tray 1 and my tray 2, but of course with the CAMS machine you could swap out your plates to any size. So I usually just set it up so whatever's my left hopper is in the first position. And I guess I'm OCD like that. It's just, you don't have to, but it's the way I think through a design. It's also easy recognition for when I go to my Hotfix tab that I know that the top ones are actually my 2 millimeters and the bottom ones are my 3. Okay, so it's just easier for me to think about it like that. Okay, but you don't have to do that. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the SS10, and of course I'm going to go to my fill. We'll go to autocomplete, and we'll click on this white area, and we hit enter, and then of course we're just converting all the parts to Spangle right now, and enter, and then finally enter, and then we'll click on select object, deselect, okay, and oh, I missed one, so let's go ahead and click on that and do that first. And then I'll go to my 2 millimeters. I'll just do all the clear first. Smaller areas require smaller stones, of course, or smaller rhinestones. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these parts over here. I like a little bit better fill on here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert these to what's called a hexagon fill. And that's actually going to be in my object manager. Right now it's a radial fill. There we go, it gives me a little bit better fill there. That looks good. All right, so now we'll go to Hotfix and we'll do the 3 millimeters. Choose our fill style. Click where all the black is actually going to be the red. All right, now let's go ahead and change that to a hexagon fill, see what we look like. And then we'll set our bead spacing to about 5. Yes, this this video will be posted on our website. Okay, so probably what I would do, see, I wouldn't even do that. See, I didn't like the way that filled in, so I would actually do all the red manually, because there's parts of the red that I want this to be a line of stones, like this here, right here. And let's go ahead and click on this, and let's set our bead spacing. Let's go to an 8 on that, and then our margin, which will get it off the black area, is right there. So now what I'll do is usually I'll do this all manual, okay? So watch how I do this. I'll go to manual here, set my bead spacing to about 5 like I did, and I'll just start doing this. I'll just click here, Oh, I'm on straight nodes. Let me go to, I'm on curved nodes. Let me go to straight nodes. What I'll do is I'll trace this out. Just going to do the borders. Yep. And I'm going to open up my simulation, my satellite view, so I don't have to keep zooming in and zooming out. So just trace the black areas, okay? And I'll come up here, and I'll come down here. Now, the best way to do this is going to be trace over that last line of stone. So when you do your overlaps, you don't see any distortion. So I'm just going to go right through the top here. I'm going right through that last line of stones, and that last line of stones will have a red stone on top of it. And when I do my, let me just move this here. And let's see here. When I do my overlaps, okay, it's actually going to only delete that one stone right there. So it's going to delete that one line of clear stone. So I don't have a lot of open areas or fixing I'm going to have to do. That looks pretty good. And then I'll just go to straight, and I'll just do this. Stop right there. You see how this makes it a little bit easier for me to do, and I can get a lot better detail doing it this way. And then we'll go right back to Hotfix, and then we'll go to the fill, set my bead space into 5, and then we'll just do this here. So I'll start right from the corner here, right here, come straight down that white, come right down to the point. And then I'll come up here, backspace. Let me just come down right to here. And what I want to do is I want to go right over this last line of stones here, making sure I do that. Yeah, I'm just missing it by one stone. Let's go right here. I want this line to go straight up here. All right, let's go here. And we'll come across. All right, so we go to Hotfix and we go to Path. And actually, the more you do it like this, the easier it starts to get for you. And I'm going to stop right there. And then from here, I would change it over to 2 millimeters and continue down through here. Of course, my bead spacing can't be -5. It's going to be somewhere around a 4. And then, I think you get the idea. I just want to show you how I would work through this design. Make sure sequence is on. We solve. There we go. I got a little. My lines were just a little bit out. Okay. But what I really want to address is how I would do the wildcats. Okay. Now, I would not use the graphic to actually create this. Instead, I would actually use my text. Okay. So I would go to vector text. This is actually a varsity font, so if you downloaded varsity font, you probably have it in here. I don't have it in here. Let's go to college, see if I have a collegiate font, and I don't. Great. So let's go to the internet, and let's go ahead and grab ourselves a font to use, okay? I need varsity to fulfill this order, so let's go ahead and go to the internet. And the website I go to is dafont.com. Okay. So the type of font we want, I think it's going to be a varsity font. Make sure you spell it right. City. You hit enter, okay, and shows there it is right there. So it's a 2-color font, but it's what I want, and I can use it. There's a couple other ones, but they don't like it. So I'm going to download this one here. And I'm going to show in folder. Let's go ahead and unzip this. and we hit install. And that's it. She's installed, ready to go. So I use DA font a lot to get my fonts. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that again. So let's go into the text. Let's go to into the V. Look for varsity, and there it is right there. Okay, so we're going to type in Wildcats. Now I happen to know that this font, when it's all capitals, has the outline. If you don't do caps, it's still uppercase, but it doesn't give you the outside, the color. We do want to bold this out, and I'm going to click on the check mark here. That comes in just like that. And what I'm going to do is now we're going to shrink this down to size. Okay, just start editing it. And let's go ahead and bring this out. And see, I'm using my graphic as a template for creating my own font here. Okay, there we go. So now what I want to do is I want to ungroup. Well, let's deselect first. Okay, you want to deselect and then select your font and then ungroup it. If you just click on ungroup, it just shrinks it back down or resizes it back to the original size. So always deselect. So I'm going to turn off my my image now. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I got to provide a little bit of separation in these letters. Okay, and plus I need to change a couple widths of some of these letters. All right, so what I'm going to do is use my arrow buttons to slide them away a little bit, just so I get a little bit more separation from them. I'm going to need that for when I convert these to rhinestones, so the rhinestones are not really touching. So move it straight across, and I'm just lining things up. It's a good idea to bring a guideline down and set it on your base of your W, so you know that everything's lined up. And we just move the T over, and then we'll be done with this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up a little bit more, because I want a two-color font. Okay, now I could create this as a two-color font. Like the outside will be the red, and the inside will be a line of single stones. The way I would do that is very simple. Do not click on Hotfix and choose fill. We'll create it the most common way, okay? So we'll do autocomplete, and what we'll do is we'll click on, let's go and click on this and make it 0. And this will do 3, okay? And we'll do a clear stone here. All right. And let's get rid of the image. Apparently, I have to get rid of it. Select the object. Delete. There we go. All right, so we got our vector on. So let's go back in. Let's try it again. So let's go ahead and click on our vector, and we'll use Smart Design, Hotfix, Uniform Fill. And it's not going to really look all that well, okay? See, the problem is with this, you know, there's no way I can get a two-color stone in there. So how I would do this is simple. I would actually click on the letter. Matter of fact, I would click on all the letters. And since I don't have the room to do a border color on this stone, what I'm going to do is what's called a contour line, okay? Contour line is going to put a line around the wildcats, which will be my alternate color. So highlight all the objects, contour with offset, and the way this works is you set your spacing. You have a couple tools here, outer offset or inner offset. Outer offset puts the line outside of the wildcats. Inner offset will put a line in the middle, okay, somewhere in the middle, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and set my separation. How far away from wildcats do I want to be? I'm going to do 1.25, 0.125. Yeah. There we go. And you could choose your color that you want to use. And nope, I'm going to go a little bit closer. Okay, so let's click on it again, contour with offset, and we'll go to 0.075. Looks a little better. I think I can go a little bit closer though. We'll see. We'll see how I can do it. Okay. And we may have to fix some parts of it, like right here. Like you see how there's just not enough nodes to actually handle this shape. So what I'll do is I'll move the nodes that are on there. Right click, insert a node, so I get this other node here. And then I could start shaping this the way I want it. So like whenever it's going around curves, it's kind of hard for it to do so. And let's bring this right here. We'll bring this out just a little bit. We just want to hint that there's a little in, there we go. And then we'll insert another node here to handle this part here. And we'll make that a straight node. And then we'll take this node, bring it right here. And now we're starting to get to see the shape a little bit. We got two nodes overlapping here. I'm not worried about that so much. Okay, so the way I would do this is simple like this. I'm going to go to Hotfix, and instead of using fill, I'm going to use path with Hotfix. And I do this because the let me click on autocomplete first and see how it does this, okay? That looks horrible because it's -5 on the density, so okay, that doesn't look too good, okay? It doesn't look clean. When I turn the vector off, it's going to be hard to tell that's a W. So what I normally do on here is I do path, but I use auto center path right here. And auto center path will give you a single line. Okay. Let me just hit. I got to do one at a time. You see what that does? It's a little bit more legible. I know they're overlapping because my default bead density is -5, so I'll fix that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these. All the ones I just created are over here. So we're just going to select them, set the right bead spacing. Let me find the first one first, right here. And then we'll go down to the last one, hold the shift key, and then we'll go down here, we'll set it to 3. It's a little better. We do have some weird distortions here. So let me try this. That's one way you could do it. Another way, probably what I'd be tempted to do, is probably manual. Whenever you have small text, it's important that you take you take the road that's going to get you finished quicker, okay? And for this one here, because the text is so small, I'm almost forced to actually do this all manual. So to do it manual, what I do is just do a line here, come across, straight up, come across, and then try, the more zoomed in you are, a little bit more control you're going to have. So, and I use my satellite because the satellite's going to help me navigate where I need to go. Okay, so let's come down here. So with this you have much better control, and you will finish your project a lot faster. Now, I do this right here, stay right in the center, and that looks a lot better. And now what I'll do is, I kind of learned what I did wrong here. See, I shouldn't have came all the way up here to that one. I should have just came right here, low enough down so I could put 2 right here. And we want the same technique over here. So I'm just going to lower these nodes down. And we'll lower this one down. So now what I'll do is, because each one of these texts are actually serifed, I'm going to use a guideline, bring the guideline down, and actually, so I could see where my line needs to be, since a lot of these are going to be all manually placed, okay? So let's kind of go, let's move this one over here. So what I'll do is I'll bring a guideline down, set it to where the node is, okay? That's where I'm going to stop. And I think that looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on. I'm going to go to Hotfix, go to Path, from there to there. Okay, so what I do is I like to cheat a little bit. I'm going to copy and paste. That could be used over here. That could be used here. Just place it right on the guideline. Matter of fact, it could be used in all these. I don't need to create that A twice. No, okay, so I got the T yet. So let's get copy and paste. And I just hit V, Control V. Control C is copy, Control V is paste, okay? And there we go. So now I could just, now what I could do is I could go to manual and place a stone here, 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 here. And we'll do down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that one there and this one here, and I'll just move these up a little bit using the edit hotfix. Be a lot easier using a mouse than a glide pad. There we go. And just continue on. All right, then after we do that, then what we want to do is we want to choose our red, and then we click on the vector line that we created, the contour line, and then we can convert that to a path, okay? And that gives us our 2-color font. All right. And that'll give us our 2-color font right there, okay? All right, let's do some more. Let's delete these. And let's get rid of our guidelines. Okay. Now, often asked a question, how do I create like a small text? Like I got to do text for a hat. Got a logo up top and a small text underneath, okay? I use the 4-stone technique. That means whenever I do a font, and let's just go ahead and do an Arial. Let's go up to the top here. Where's my Arials? There they are. And we're going to do like a, let's go a 1/2 inch, okay? And we'll do the word boss, okay? What's the smallest font I can actually create? Well, what I do is if I don't have 4 stone heights on the smallest stone, I cannot create this font. For instance, when I go ahead and go to my hotfix, and I'll just manually create this, okay, with a 2mm. I need at least 4 stones in height in order to get detail. Let's say this is an E. Well, in order to make this E, I would have to go out here, I would have to go across the top with a line, and if I do the middle, now you can't tell that's an E. Okay, it's very hard to do that. So realistically, I need 4 stones in height in order to get an E that's legible. I go 2 here, 1 in the middle, and then 2 across the top. Okay, you could tell that's an E. That's the smallest and I'm real close too, by the way. And I wouldn't want to do this close on a rhinestone machine, or even on a cutter. It'd be impossible. But this will be the very smallest font I can use. And the size I have here is actually a quarter inch width by just a little over a 1/4 inch in height. So that's the minimum text height you can do. So if your customer brings you in a graphic and your text happens to be 0.20, you're not going to be able to create that, okay? Not with a 2mm. You would need the 1.2mm press unit on the Pro Spangle machine to be able to do that small, okay? So everybody with 2mm or SS6 size stones that you're using, the lowest letter you can do is basically a little bit higher than a 1/4 inch in height. Okay, if the letter's small, then you'll have to contact your customer and tell them about that. And then work out a scenario where you can work around the lettering or make it bigger or maybe remove some, okay? But that's the smallest size that you can do. To do the word boss, you know, this will be fine. This text height we have here is roughly 0.35, so this is perfect, okay? So I can actually create this without a problem. We're going to go to Hotfix. We'll do the path. I'll do curves, and I'll just go ahead and create this. And you can see when you do it through the manual method, it doesn't really place the stones where you need them. It's because the lettering is so small. All right, but you can actually maneuver it. Okay, this one here's got to be in. This one's got to be in a little bit. There we go. Let's take a look and see if that looks like a B. Yeah, it looks like a B. Okay, probably this one can come down. I always turn my graphic off so I could see exactly what my customer's going to see, and I could tweak it. I could tweak it then. Okay. The O, same way. Just going to go to create. Always stay right in the middle. All right, looks pretty good. This one here. I never start on the edge because on the edge is the center of the stone. Okay, so I'm going to be in here. I'm visualizing where that white circle, which is my node, is actually going to, that's the center of my stone placement. So I can create my own fonts this way. And no, I really messed it up on the end there, but you get the idea. Okay, you can use the autocomplete, the auto center path technique. When I click on it, it should give me the auto center. Boom. And then just adjust your bead spacing. Now, there we go. And these things here are where the first stone places. Where the first stone places can change the whole look of the design, especially when dealing with spacing. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Okay, creating your own fonts. Okay, a lot of people actually create their own catalog of specific fonts. Okay, and they'll do it for 1 inch, 2 inch, 1.5 inch. You could do that as well. So the way you do that, basically, and everybody should be able to get this. So Varsity, since it's one of the most popular ones, you know what I would do is I would just type it out. I would do all caps, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, and then of course you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Some backspace. 0. And then you choose the height of your font. So if I was going to do like 1.25 inches, I'd do 1.25 inches. And then create your fonts, okay? Create them right here. And then as you need them, you can go into this font library and choose a letter and bring it over to your design page and add it to it. And the way you do this is simply, just simply ungroup. And what I want to do is I want a 2-color, okay? And in order to be able to ungroup the outline with the inside, you have to ungroup all. Once you do that, then you have the inside color only. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Hotfix. We'll choose Uniform Fill, and we'll choose a 3, and we'll just shrink it, bring it in just a little bit. Okay. Not sure if the border's going to work here for this size. Chances are what I would probably have done is probably an SS10 center line. So if I were to do a center line path, let me see what that looked like. It probably looked the way I wanted if I manually created it. So if I do this, I'll do a straight line node. This is probably the way I would create this. Yeah, that looks right. Use an SS10. And of course I gotta adjust that. And probably what I would do on this is just manually put these in here as I need them. Probably use a 2mm here. So you can get creative with the 2mm. Just change them over. Insert hotfix. There we go. And then we do the same thing down below. You'll have much better luck. The larger the letter gets, the easier it will be to get a better fill look. And then right click, insert hotfix. And we do this. And now what we'll do is, to do that outline, we'll choose path, autocomplete. Oh, we'll do autocomplete. Click on the outline. And see what it did. Autocomplete actually tries to do 2 lines of stones. And I kind of like that because I want to get rid of the inside line and leave just the outside. I may have to do some adjustment here on a couple spangles that are just overlapping here. Just by moving them out, straightening them out. It's the angles that kill you. Especially on the W, the N's, the M's, and the A's and the V's. Well, actually, V's are pretty easy. There we go. Probably don't need this one. I could have done well with just 3 here. And the way I do the 3 is I do the first one in the middle, that sets the center point, and then 1 on each side. Just turn off the vector, and then you can see what you could do there. So now what I'll do is just for the border in here. These you're going to have to do manually, okay? So just insert hotfix, put 1 right here, 1 right here, and what I'll do is I'll put 2 down here. And there we go. It gets a little easier. The bigger the letter, the better. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. How do I deal with text that's on an arch? Okay. Get a lot of questions about, you know, my customer wants their text in a banner, and they wanted 2 colors. But when you do hotfix text, okay, it only does it in 1 color. So let's go ahead and do a digitized font. Let's go ahead and, just for time's sake, we'll go ahead and do a, let's go ahead and do this Dextor. I like this Dextor font, okay? And we're gonna keep it about 1 inch. All right, and I'm gonna type in, let's go ahead and do that boss again. Oop. And we hit enter. What we have is the word boss. Customer wants this in a banner, and they want these lines in here to be straight. Matter of fact, we can go a bit smaller than this. Let's go ahead and go to 0.65. There we go. They want this line of spangle here to be red, okay? And they want the rest to be clear, okay? They want a 2 color, but as you can see, Sierra only brought it in as 1 way. Plus, they want it in a banner, okay? So once we set the banner, oh, that's awful. Let me go ahead. Let me change the order. Let me go ahead and change it into an arch, okay? Okay. Once you have your arch set, you can actually right-click on here, and then you could split the hotfix text up, and it leaves each element alone. So now I could go ahead and change it to a 2-color element here. So I can click on this, and let's make it a red. And we'll make this one a red, and you can see what happened is the red's over top of here. So I'm going to bring this red in a little bit so it's away from the silver, because we want the silver to be the border, right? Bring it up. on this red here. And just move the nodes in, okay? Just move the nodes. Don't sit there and delete stones. Just move the nodes in. It'll decrease the stone count to what you need. Okay. There we go. And then this one, then I'll go back to here, and then here, and these two will be red. So once you ungroup it, you can actually adjust the different colors, okay? All right, so let's do something else now. How about if we do a TrueType font? And they want it to be red, white, and blue. Got a lot of these questions during the Olympics. So let's go ahead and go to an impact font. Impact, there we go. And we'll do USA. Okay, we'll bold it. Okay, we're going to make it like 3 inches. Okay, we're going to set all our stuff here. Okay, see, it comes in as one color. Okay, we want a red, white, and blue, so we don't need the border. Okay, none. Okay. And then we're going to arch it. Okay. Now the problem comes is they want this, they want the top section to be red, they want the middle section to be white, and they want the bottom section to be blue. Now how do I do that? It's easy to do when you have artwork text. Like when I do the text here and I do, let's say and do impact, okay? And we'll do the same height, 3.0, and we do USA. You know, when we have a vector graphic like this, we have some tools that we can use. Once I ungroup this, right, I have what's called a split vector tool, which allows me to go ahead and just slice the top of this U right off there. All right, and then do it again. We can cut right here, and now we have our red, you know, our white, and our blue. The problem is this design, number one, is not a vector, so we don't have the split option. See, it's nowhere to be found. We also cannot arch this, okay? All the text that you do from the artwork tab is all going to be straight across, okay? So what we have to do a little finagling, okay? The way we do this is once we have our stones in place, okay, all we got to do is click on and split. Once the arch is set, make sure your arch is set, all the stone spacing is correct, okay? Matter of fact, you don't have to worry about that, but make sure it's a fill, okay? And then split your Hotfix text up, okay? That means it ungroups the object as a USA to just U, S, and A, okay? Once we've done that, you can click on each text, right-click, and convert Hotfix object to a vector. And now you see we have a vector graphic behind there. We're going to do it to all of them. You have to do it one at a time. Won't do it on groups. So now that I did that, I could turn off my vector, get rid of my rhinestones. I no longer need them. Okay? They serve their purpose. They allow me to convert rhinestones to a vector graphic. Now I can go in here and start trimming up some shapes. Okay? So I can go to split vector, and I'm going to figure right about here is going to be right where I want to cut it. Just make sure you're straight. All right, that's my red. Now we'll cut it again, and we'll figure this is going to be where my white's going to be, so I'm straight across. Take your time, make sure you get a nice straight cut. All right, so this is going to be my white, and finally this is going to be my blue, and then we'll continue on to the S. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a guideline down to show where my point meets right here. That's where I'm going to split the S. I'm just going to go right across to here. All right, this is going to be red. I'm going to bring another guideline down to the point of my white right here, right where the white meets the blue, and that's where I'll cut the S on here. So everything looks pretty good. I'm going to start right from here, just cut right across. I could be off just a little bit. I just don't want to get a little tiny point here that can't fit even a stone. All right, yep, that should be a darker blue. There we go. And then finally we do the A. Now the A we'll have to get a little fancier, okay? So we'll have to figure out how to cut that. All right, so right about here is where my cut line starts. I'm going to come straight across the A just like that. Click on the bottom and split that as well. So I'm going to find my point right here. It comes straight across. Guideline helps you big time as far as like figuring out where to cut, okay? Now that we got our graphic in 3 colors, now we can convert each color to the spangle color. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to Hotfix. We're going to choose our red color first. We're going to choose the red. Go to Smart Design, Uniform Fill. Let's move this over here. All right, so let's go to Hotfix. Let's choose the clear stones. Choose where the clear is going to go. Make sure you don't accidentally click on the red. There we go. Choose your uniform fill. Then choose deselect. Hotfix, choose the blue. Click where the blue is going to go. Holding my control button so I can multi-select many blues. And there we go. Let's turn that off, turn off our vector. And then we'll go ahead and solve our overlaps. Since we're using the same size stone where color meets color, we should see no problem once we resolve this. Maybe just do, let me see. Oh, I can see why. When this happens, I'm just going to undo. Go back to where I had the, there we go. What happened is I have apparently I have a margin number here. So I'm going to remove the margin. And I'll do that through the object inspector. Set it to 0. And now you see where color meets color. It's kind of lined up perfectly. I mean, I may have one problem here, but what I'll do is I'll fix that before I even sweep it out. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and sweep this out. So now we'll do a hotfix conflicts. Solve, and there we go. So we got a couple stones to replace here and here, but it's much easier to do it the way we just did it. Okay, so what we did, we actually did our design in Arch, and then we converted our rhinestones to vectors after splitting the hotfix text. And then from there, we got rid of the stones, and then we edited our vector graphic, and then created our split our vector up into many different colors, and then you can convert it all to rhinestones and still have the arch. Okay, any questions so far? How to do script fonts, like Edwardian script. Okay, let's see if we have an Edwardian script font. And I don't, so we have to download it, obviously. So, no shopping. Let's go ahead and go to my Chrome, Microsoft Edge. Where's my Chrome? All right, there's my Chrome. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to download Edwardian script. Let's go ahead and go to DA font. And there we go. See, these fonts right here are very popular. These ones that go from thin to thick right here, this one here would be a very good one, Desert Queen. Make sure your fonts that you're buying are actually, or downloading are actually TrueType fonts, because OTF fonts will not work. This is a nice one. I love this one here. Buttercup. And let me click on that. Let me look at that a little bit further. And see, this would be a good one for like a cheerleading or. So I'm going to download that one. We're going to show you how to create that one. And I know you can actually go to. Let me extract this. You can go to like eBay or you can actually buy a whole bunch of fonts and store them in your computer. And when you store all those fonts in your Windows PC, it slows down your PC. So I tend to add fonts as I need them. Okay, and it helps keep my Windows working really good. Let me see. Introducing. Why is this coming up? I just want to install the font. This is that's an OpenType font. You got the TrueType font right here. Sometimes you get two fonts for one. Just make sure you're installing the TrueType font. There we go. Okay, doing script. Everybody does scripts. Okay, and that was called Buttercup. So in order for that to come up, I need to close that out, go back into here, and we'll go to B, and there's the Buttercup. Okay, so let's go ahead and do cheer, C-H-E-E-R. Okay. And we'll set our size to an average size font would be about 1.5 inches. Okay, don't need to bold it. Okay. When dealing with vector graphics like this, you can see we have a connection point that's kind of marrying itself from one letter to the other. When you deselect your font, of course, you don't see it, okay? It looks like it's all one flowing thing, but when you click on it, you can see the tail of the C is actually there, and it's actually behind the H, and the H is behind the E. You have to be mindful of this because you do have to deal with that before converting, okay? What I do on this is actually I combine vectors and I choose addition, which welds it all together. Now it's all welded together and it's one flowing font. Now to create this, what I'll do is I'll choose first what size stones I need to do. So we're going to do stones here. And I'm going to go to new and I'm going to choose 3 different size stones, okay? I'm going to choose a 6, cobalt. I'm going to choose a 10, cobalt. And we'll use our SS16. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to figure out what size stones are each part of this design. Starting with the SS6, we can see we're going to start a design with SS6. And when we get to here, we're going to need an SS10, nope, SS16. Okay, and then when we get to here, we're going to need the SS10. So what we're going to do is to create this font, is we're going to create it just like that. Okay, we're going to do a manual method. We're going to choose SS6 first. And we'll just hand draw this out just like we would normally do. I'm going to go to 2 on this. And I'll start right from here. And make sure you're on curve. Okay, see your node place right here? Right now I'm on straight lines, which only does straight lines. It doesn't do curves real well. So I'm going to make sure I'm on curves. And stay right in the center. And right here, I'm going to stop and hit enter. Change my stone to an SS10. Set your bead spacing to 3. I always increase by 1. And what I'll do is continue on right here. I'm probably just going to place a couple stones here. I'll go right to edit. And now we can go right to the SS16. So let's go ahead and go to Hotfix, Path. Let's choose the SS16 stones. Let's choose our bead spacing to 5. The higher the stone, the lowest spacing I'll do for an automatic machine on an SS6 will be 3. Okay, you can do 2, but you're going to have a lot of flips. Okay, because stones are not the same diameter from stone to stone. So I'll do normally 3. For an SS10, I'll do 4. An SS16, I'll do 5. My base spacing for SS20 will be 6, obviously. So we'll just continue this on. And by the way, work smarter, not harder. Just open up your satellite view, dock your satellite view in an easier location, and then just use this to help you navigate around. So it takes so much time to actually zoom in and zoom out and position your mouse where you want it. There we go. And now we'll go back to, oh, there we go. So we're going to go back into the path, and we'll do SS10s, and we'll do the 4 on the bead spacing. And I'm probably just put 1 stone here, so I don't even need to do that. I'm just going to put manual. And then we'll go to the SS6. And I'll stop right there. And we'll continue on. So we'll go to Hotfix again, choose path, set our bead spacing here to 3. And we'll start right from here. Remember, where your nodes are is the center of the stone. So try to visualize where you're setting it. Oh, if you make a wrong node choice, just hit the backspace. It'll go back one for you. Okay, I'm just going to click right. See, that's a wrong position. I want it right in the middle. Right there. Enter. Let me take this down to 2. There we go. And then now we'll just go probably just a couple stones of SS10. So I'll insert hotfix. Yeah, probably just another SS6 here. Looks like it can come out to a little bit more, right? There's the 10. That's where the 10 is going to start. And these are all going to be SS10. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my path. Set my bead space into 4. And whoop. Zoom in. And I'm going to start from the center of this stone. But remember, it's going to delete that stone when I do my sweep out, so that looks pretty good. You might want to just go ahead and attack this a little bit. Whenever you see a problem, just go ahead and attack it so you're doing it right then and there instead of going back and adding so much work later. There we go. So let me just carry this node all the way around. And then grab the bezier, just bring it down a little bit. All right, that looks good. So, I may want to go to edit hotfix and just move them around a little bit because it's having a hard time making that steep of a curve. And then we'll just go put another one right in here. The whole key of it is actually take your time through it. All right? Whenever you're doing small detailed text, remember the text is the most important part of your graphic, okay? And it's going to be the selling point. It's the message that your customer is going to want to convey. So take your time doing it. If you have to put stones in one at a time to get the look you're shooting for, then absolutely do that. It's actually going to make so much. It's going to put your design technique over and above the competition's because they're going to do the quick method and they're going to want to get it done quicker. Okay, but you want your customers to be happy with what they're getting from you, and if you provide the most detail and the most care, they're always going to go with you. See, now I forgot to set my bead spacing on there. There we go. And you'll get this nice look, okay? You can see how that's looking already, okay? All right, anybody have any questions? We're right at the cutoff time. Anybody have any questions whatsoever? Did I put everybody to sleep? Well, I hope you learned something today. Oh, Debbie Hill has a question. No, Debbie, I must have did a good job, huh, Deb? All right. Well, I hope everybody has a great weekend. This video will be available. Just give it up by Monday morning. It'll be available on our YouTube site or on our website. And what do you think? I got a question here. What do you think is the best spacing for Spangle? For Spangle, I do the same thing. Okay, I don't want to use up all my Spangle reel on one design. Okay, you also want one common problem with Spangle is when you're pressing the Spangle. Sometimes the Spangle doesn't transfer to the shirt. And the reason why is because if you put Spangle real close to the other, and it's a flood, like let's say we do this circle, okay? Let me just a real quick thing here, okay? Let's go ahead and do a fill here. And we're just going to do a shape, okay? A lot of people will do as little area in between the Spangle as possible. They will sit on here and they'll do a hexagon fill. And then they'll do the bead spacing at 2, and they'll, of course, with no margin, okay? And what happens is, when you press this to a shirt, there is no air getting around these spangles in the middle, okay? There's no air to cool it down. So what happens is the spangles start to, that are inside of here are not setting. So On rhinestones the same way. If you have stones that are right next to each other, it's number one. It's going to the problem you have on rhinestones is because each glass stone is not the same diameter. You get stone collisions where the stone that is being set will hit the stone that was previously set, flipping it up on its side. So that's the special issue you get with rhinestones. But on a spangle, each spangle is a precise 2 millimeter cut. So yes, you can get them right next to each other by putting no space, but the problem you're going to have is the air is not going to get to the center of that transfer to cool down the spangle tape after heat pressing, and what you see is some spangles start to peel off when you pull that transfer sheet off, okay? So always provide some gap on whether it's rhinestones or spangle. My lowest spacing for SS10 or 6 is a 3. For SS10, it's going to be a 4. And for SS16s, is going to be a 5, and of course 6 for SS20s, okay? When you look at this object from a 100% view out position, okay, you will not notice the space in between them. They're looking like they're almost touching each other. So, you know, when you're zoomed in, you tend to see a larger gap, okay, in between stones. When you zoom out 100%, you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? It is a lot of great information. I need to look at a video again. Thank you. Perfect. I agree. You get a better results with some space. Absolutely. Plus, the other thing about using space is number one, you're not using as many rhinestones as you would if you fill it. If you decrease your narrow space, if you decrease to a narrow space in between them. Faster run-out times, higher profitability, okay? You're not using as many stones, so there's a lot of benefits of adding some space in between the stones, okay? One more thing I do want to talk about real quick, because I just thought about this. On the varsity font, okay? Let me show you something, and this will make sense to everybody that gets it. Let's do a capital M, okay? And the capital M is going to be about 4 inches, okay? It's a common mistake people make, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do is ungroup all. I'm going to let me get rid of some things here. Hold on. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, just hang in there. Let me just get rid of all my stones. And I have some vectors here. Okay, the USA. Let's get rid of the USA. Get rid of the cheer. Let's get this M going, okay? So what I want to do is this M, and this could be for Middleburg or whatever, okay? And it's how to fill this up, okay? How would I approach the fill? Let's just change the nodes. Let's make it a little bit more bolder, okay? Let's go to here. Let's do a uniform fill, okay? That's normally how I would do this fill. Now, hold on 1 second. Let me turn off my vector. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do a 0 margin. Let's do a 3 stone gap. Look how many stones I got. I got 426 stones with this. So let's go ahead and do a border color too, okay? So let's go ahead and add the border to this. All right, and we're going to add a bead. We're going to add a red. We'll add a clear bead to it, SS6. All right, just for a real quick point. There's the clear bead. We do 3 on the bead spacing as well because it's an SS6. Okay, and we have a total of 426 stones in this design. Okay, now that's as it's created now. Okay, this is actually a pretty small letter, so it's going to increase it. This is normally, let's do a regular full chest, okay? So let's go to layout, and we'll do, it's like 2.5 inches, right? So we're going to do a 8.5 inch font here, okay? Now when we do something like this, you see, even if we use an SS10 stone to fill, or SS16, at our prescribed bead spacing of 5, we got 1,825 stones in this design, okay? That's an awful amount, a lot of stones, a lot of run out time, okay? Instead of using that, I'd like to do this. I like to go to a hexagon fill with a higher bead spacing, maybe like somewhere around 17. It looks very filled, but look, I only got 1,485. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more. Let me, what was the radial on that? All right, that was 1,825 stones as a radial fill, okay? When I changed the hexagon fill, and I could put a higher bead spacing in the design, and it still looks like it's a full design, okay? It looks like it's fully filled. The fill looks uniform, okay? I could probably even go to 20 and still get a nicely decorated image right there, okay? Now look, I'm at 1,391 stones. I'm saving 500 stones, okay? So use your different fills, okay, to actually make it cheaper on you and quicker run out times, okay? I just wanted to touch base on that, okay, because that's very important. Okay, got a random question. It's not really related. Is there a video or a class on all of the options in Hotfix Error? Well, we're actually making a video tutorial system program. I'm actually going through all the different fills. How do I convert a photograph to rhinestones and that kind of stuff? All the capabilities that the Hotfix Error has. A lot of them are add-on tools with different fills, like spectacular fill and all this stuff. All those will be covered in those training lessons once they're completed and published. They're pretty much all done, just waiting for them to be published, okay? Let me see, like the detail or file information area, cannot remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it puts the design info in the file. What is team names? Team names is, what team names does is actually layers different names one on top of the other. It's been very popular for embroidery. Like, let's say I'm doing a bunch of karate belts, and each kid gets their own karate belt. Well, I could do like a file for Tom, a file for Susan, a file for George, Peter, and all that stuff. Each individual file, and send it over to the machine and sew each one out one at a time. Or what team names does, it actually lets me do Peter first, and on top of Peter will be the word Tom, and then another name Susan, another name on top of that George, all the way through 17 names, okay? And then what I'll do is once I put it on the machine, it'll sew the first name first, and then the machine will stop. I then put the next gi on there, and it sews the next name on top. And it just keeps working down that pile of names until all my material is embroidered. For the rhinestone, it does the same thing. It sends one name over, it layers all these names on top of each other. And it does the first name at the bottom on your transfer, skips down, goes down, and does the next name, the next name, the next name, the next name. It's just a way of doing it without having to do, like, Tom at the top left corner. Underneath Tom will be Betty and Jeff, and then you just have this table of contents layout of names, okay? But we're going to be covering all that in these videos once they become published, okay? Well, we definitely went over 10 minutes over our time, so I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I will see you in 2 Fridays.